Hi, Mara Coleman, Kansas City real estate agent. I have an exciting tour for you today in Overland Park. Before we introduce you to where we're going, I want you to click like and subscribe and click that little bell so you don't miss any of these good informational videos about Kansas City. So I don't know if you've been watching many of my neighborhood tours. I've grown up in Kansas City and I really love this city, and it's fun to introduce it to my clients who live out of town, out of state, and might be thinking about moving to Kansas City, or maybe you're just interested in Kansas City, or you're just flipping through and you landed here. So whatever it is, I appreciate you, and I want to show you some parts of our cities. And we're starting with Overland Park, which is in the Kansas City greater metro area in Johnson County. It actually spans pretty much the entire length of the county. It's ginormous, and it has been voted the best nation in the country, the best place to buy a house recently. It's also won in the past best place to raise a family. It's a pretty spectacular little pocket of the United States, and so I'm going to drive you all over the city and show you from the very top of the north, let's see, get my directions right, the northeastern portion of Overland Park all the way over to the west, and then we're going to go central, and we're also going to go way south. And it has grown since I lived in Overland Park when I was very little, kind of lived in the central part. It's grown and grown and grown, and it is very, very large. So here we go. So in the past 180 days, I found homes that sold at the bottom at 125,000 all the way up into the millions. And actually, I think 6 million was the highest. I saw several that were 2+ million. And so we're going to look at a lot of different price ranges. And that's pretty impressive that we can have a price range from low 100s up into the millions in one city. And these are all, again, in Johnson County, Kansas. Overland Park kind of started in 1905. It was incorporated in the 60s. So that's when it got its own mayor and government and really started booming. And you can see that in some of these early neighborhoods that we'll be showing you. I think one of the reasons why Overland Park keeps winning best in, places to raise a family, best city, in place to move, best place to buy a house in the United States is the cost of living. It is significantly lower than many other areas, but it still has, it has amazing schools, amazing amenities, so many parks, it's safe, great jobs. It has all the things that you might want to have, but the cost of living is still really reasonable. I looked up on Niche and it gave it a 88.2% cost of living, which is pretty impressive. Overland Park has around 200,000 residents, which makes it the second largest city next to Wichita, Kansas. So again, it's large, it's wide, and it's big. Overland Park feeds into 4 different school districts. Shawnee Mission School District and Blue Valley take the most students that live in Overland Park. In the southwest corners, there are some houses and subdivisions that feed into the Olathe School District or Spring Hill School District. All 4 are very good districts. Like I mentioned before, the amenities in Overland Park are amazing. And when I get into some of the neighborhoods that are nearby some of these, I will put a link up at the top so you can look at older videos or more specific videos to neighborhoods that I may have driven through a couple of years ago. Keep in mind, all of the estimates of pricing, there's very wide. There are outliers. We have just kind of left a really hot, crazy market. It is cooling a little bit, so things are changing. So obviously, if you're interested in a certain area, please reach out. I can pull comps. I can pull homes that are available right now, what they're going for, and give you a lot more details. This is just kind of an overview at what's happening right now in Kansas City. Let's check out some of these neighborhoods. So the first one I'm going to take you through is a little neighborhood subdivision in Overland Park called Southmore Gardens. These were built in the mid-century and probably the middle 50s, and they are mostly all ranches. One car garage built on a slab. I don't believe there are any basements in these at all, and they are all basically around 1,000 square feet. It's kind of a charming neighborhood, lots of mature trees. Many of these are very well taken care of. Some of them need a little bit more attention, a little bit more updating. It is a really nice wide demographic. Some retired folks, some first-time home buyers, some people who have lived here for a very long time, and some who haven't lived here very long. But it's a charming little neighborhood, and everybody takes good care of each other. These homes are on the bottom of our price range that I was able to find in Overland Park during this little time window that I was looking, and these pretty much start around $175,000. Okay, so we've moved just about 7 blocks. I'm at about 77th and Metcalf now. We've moved a little bit south of where we were just a minute ago, and we've got basements now. We still are built right around the same time period in the middle 50s. A lot of these are ranches, although some of them do have some a little bit more room up the top above. There are some splits in here. We still have 1-car garages. Occasionally there'll be a 2nd-car garage that pops in, but most of these now have basements. Just like the other neighborhood, there are some that have additions, some that have major updates, and some of them have been kind of just left alone and are in about the same state as they have been for many years. So you're able to find some really good deals in this neighborhood probably. These are a little bit larger, so we're dealing with 1,000 to about 1,500 square feet in average. And these are now selling in the mid 300s. We are approaching downtown Overland Park, or some locals call it Old Overland Park. There's a lot new to be said about Old Overland Park now, and lots of local businesses, restaurants, shops, service places, massage, just so many great little community businesses down here that it's a great little destination. They have some really great programming. This is where the Overland Park Farmers Market is. It moved from Matt Ross Community Center, which is right here as well, back to under the clock tower there. There's a whole structure, and there's going to be a new structure that I think just got approved for the farmers market. But they're here on Saturdays and I believe Wednesdays off during the summer. The off-season times are a little different. There's a Pinsey Spices down here. Again, the Overland Park Culinary Center is here as well, with some great classes and community stuff. It's really, really developed and a very fun kind of destination. I remember being part of mini parades down this road and playing in the marching band and being in little dance outfits and all kinds of things in downtown Overland Park. It's pretty great little area. We have traveled a little bit farther south and east. We're now in a little subdivision that's around 95th and Lamar. And these are built a little bit later, probably in the middle 1960s. They all have 2-car garages. They are larger. They're about 1,500 to 22,000 square feet. Some have additions that you'll see some things bumped out on the back of them. There's a little more variety of architectural styles here. We still have quite a few ranches. But we're also starting to see some split levels, which is a very common, I don't know if that's a Midwestern thing, but we see it a lot in Overland Park and in Kansas City, the traditional split level home, as well as some colonials now, 2 stories, and there's just a variety of different architectural styles that are sprinkled in this neighborhood. There are a few slabs, but most of these now have basements. Quite a few of them will have the basements refinished, and it will be another whole additional living space for families and large gatherings, which is pretty wonderful. They range in the mid 400s, and again, depending on updates and additions, that price range will vary, but these are all in the middle 400s. Like the other 2 neighborhoods that I've shown you so far, these are in the Shawnee Mission School District. I'm thinking this neighborhood is right on the edge of Shawnee Mission East, although it could be in the Shawnee Mission South school, high school. We've traveled just a smidge southeast. We are now in the Cherry Hill subdivision. This is around 99th and Row. We are still in the Shawnee Mission School District, and these are just a little bit bigger. They're kind of very similar to that last subdivision that we looked at. All 2-car garages. Many of these are large ranches with full basements. And the thing I love about a ranch house with a basement is it's the footprint of the home. So those basements are gigantic. Many of these, or probably the majority of them, will have the finished basements, and they're very well, most of them, I can't say all of them, but many of them are very well done. So the renovations and the updates are pretty extraordinary when you come in and take a peek at these. We do still have some 2 stories. We have some split levels and some kind of reverse 1.5 occasionally, but most of them are ranches. These again are larger than the last neighborhood. They probably are all around 2,000 square feet or maybe a little bit above. They were built in the 1960s as well, and the price range on these are in the mid 500s. So we have traveled to around 103rd and Quivira, and you can see that we are now on kind of the western border of Overland Park. We're very close. We're right next to Lenexa at this point. So this is still Shawnee Mission School District. I think this is either Shawnee Mission Northwest or Shawnee Mission West. I actually had a bunch of friends that lived over here back in the 80s. It was Shawnee Mission West. I think there's a good chance it's changed since then, but you can kind of see on the map we are not too far from Johnson County Community College. We're very close to I-35 and 69 Highway. This is just a really easy part of Overland Park and part of Kansas City to get to pretty much anywhere. So it's very centralized. It's a really wonderful location. This area is called the Oak Park Subdivision. It was built in the 70s, so they're a little bit younger than some of the other neighborhoods we've seen. They're around 2,000 to 3,000 square feet. Most of them do have the finished basements. We have a lot of split level homes here, which is that kind of traditional Overland Park and Midwestern sort of architecture. We do have some colonials and a few ranches, but most of them are 2 stories or split levels. Again, most of them they all have basements. Many of them are finished, and I've created a really nice extra living space within those basement structures. All have 2-car garages as well. Mature trees, great yards, some have additions. There's quite a few pools in the backyards of these guys. I've seen quite a few that I've shown, and I've seen them come up on the market with pools. These range in the middle 400s up into the mid 500s. One thing we haven't talked about in this area are some of the trail systems. There are some wonderful walking trails and biking trails and hiking trails that have been developed around here that really cross through Johnson County and go up. I think some of them even start over about 95th and Row, and they're all connected, and they connect down through here, and they go all the way out through to Shawnee Mission Park and in through Olathe, Lenexa, and obviously Overland Park. They're called the Streamway Trails, or the Indian Creek Trail. We hear that name as well. They're connected to parks, green spaces. They're wonderful, and they're great for families with kids and bikes and hiking and meeting friends and going for walks, and they're pretty fantastic. We've moved a little bit south now, and we are in Nottingham Forest Subdivision, which is kind of central in Overland Park, around 119th and Schweitzer. We're in the Blue Valley School District now, and these are beautiful homes that were built in the early to mid 80s. So some of them have some really lovely updates, and some of them still need to be updated a little bit, which is a great opportunity to buy something that needs a little bit of something, and you can put some work into it and really make it something great. These are larger. They range between 4,000 and 5,000 square feet. Most of them have finished basements that are fully functional, with probably a kitchen down there, at least a bar, and like a bar kitchen, as well as entertainment, and maybe a bedroom or two with a full bathroom. These are priced in the middle 600s. Sometimes you can find one that needs a few updates in the 500s, and they do go up into the 700s. And they're really a lot of different architectural styles. Some reverse splits, some reverse ranches, 2 stories, mostly 2-car garages, although I've seen some 3-car garages in here as well. And they're just really lovely little neighborhood. We have ventured way south Overland Park to Mills Farm. This little subdivision is around 165th and Quivira. And again, this is Blue Valley School District. And let's check out these homes. This subdivision was started being built in the 2010s, and the homes range from 800,000 to 2 million up in there. So obviously there are quite a few custom homes that were designed and built here, so that is representative in the price structure. So there's a huge range. Obviously it's a fairly new subdivision, so the trees are small, but the lots are quite large, and the homes are gorgeous and very big. They are range in the 4,000 square feet up into the 5,000 and above. Obviously, all of these will have basements that are finished to various degrees. I'm certain that many of them have bedrooms and full bathrooms, as well as a bar or a full second kitchen down in the basement area for entertaining. I'd say all of these have 3-car garages. Most of them are 2-story homes. Again, depending on the lots, there may be a walkout base. Although depending on the lots, there are probably a couple that have walkout basements. I don't know that really there are any reverse ranches at all. Almost all of these are 2 stories. As we turn off Quivira onto 175th Street, we will be entering Terrybrook Farms, which is a new subdivision. There are still some homes that have yet to be bought or built even, and maybe some new lots. I'm not sure of exactly the status here, but these homes are between 179th and 167th and Quivira Road. Terrybrook Farm is close to the bottom of the map of Overland Park. We're fairly close to the Overland Park Arboretum, and if you haven't watched the video that I made last spring, it's definitely worth a watch, and might be a little cold coming into the winter, but you should most 100% put the Overland Park Arboretum on your list of things to go do. It's gorgeous, and they do have some really great programming in the winter as well, actually. These homes are beautiful, and they do have a large range. You could probably get in here for around 700, and they do go up into the millions, 1 million plus, and many of them are custom, as you'll see driving through. So there's a variety of finishes and a big variety of what you'll end up with in the end. Again, most of these are 2 stories. Some reverse ranch. All have all have 3-car garages. They're very well built and just really gorgeous homes here in Terrybrook Farm. And we're about the same size as we've been seeing in the 4,000 to probably 6,000 square feet, depending on the finishes of the basement. We've moved a little bit northeast, and we are now at Hampton Place, which is about 157th and Knoll. And this is a little bit of an older neighborhood. It was built in the late 90s and early 2000s. These homes are around 3,000 to 4,000 square feet. Again, they all have basements. Probably, I would imagine most of them are finished. Some of these need a little bit of updating, but some of them are looking really, really great as well. This is still the Blue Valley School District, and we're really pretty close to Blue Valley, the original Blue Valley High School. This is that homes in this established neighborhood range from the 400s to the upper 500,000s. You're going to find lots of 2 stories again, some colonials, more 2-car garages than 3-car garages, but there's certainly some 3-car garages here and there, and a lot of really nice established neighborhood vibes with beautiful trees and cul-de-sacs, and a really just a lovely community here. We're wrapping our Overland Park driving tour with a subdivision called Water's Edge. And this one is about 159th and Mission Road. We're going to kind of almost bump right up to state line here. So we're about as far east as you can get in the lower part of Overland Park. Water's Edge is a subdivision that was built in around 2015, and I think most of them finished up in 2020. I don't think they're doing any more building over here in this area. Most of these homes are in the kind of $1 million range. I think you might be able to find something around 700, but they're going to be in that kind of in that range there. They are all most of them, again, like the last couple subdivisions, are 2 stories. You're going to find lots of 3 and some 4-car garages here. Like the name says, Water's Edge, there's lots of water features here, which is kind of sweet, and really looks like a lot of fun in this planned neighborhood. Well, we put some miles on the car today showing you Overland Park. It's a big space. It's a lot of miles to get all around Overland Park. And this was just kind of an overview of as many neighborhoods as I could find that were kind of spread out, so you could really see how vast of a city Overland Park is. Glennis and I are going to make our way back to Prairie Village. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any questions. If you want to see any of these areas, I'd love to take you out and tour them with you. Thanks again for watching.